Alright, YouTube, Combetta, Hillary Clinton's IT guy, is probably screwed. Yeah. I think it was Bill Mitchell was speaking about, oh, well, I just heard on the grapevine that something big's going on, and all the Trump fans will smile and say, oh, no, really? No shit, or something along those lines. I have a feeling this is what he was probably referring to. It looks like what happened is that some internet archaeologists traced the username Stone Tier, which was on Reddit, asking for advice on like wiping emails and stuff like that around the time that the FBI was asking for all this from this very same IT guy. And they traced it to another Gmail account, apparently, that was linked to his sort of professional profile. They linked it to some other shit, and they've determined that, yeah, probably this is Hillary Clinton's IT guy. He wasn't a very good IT guy. It looks like he was one of those IT people that primarily sets up shop and Googles a problem, or delegates it to some nerds on a forum or something, and then hopes that they can get the job done to justify their income. The problem being this probably is not covered under the immunity that was granted to him for testimony, which means he's going in again to be questioned. And Congress is already aware of it. Now, at first, when this first broke, I thought, number one, maybe this is a hoax. Number two, maybe this isn't actually the IT guy's account. Somebody did a hell of a job of fabricating this or something like that. The mainstream news has picked it up. It's been basically confirmed, yeah. This was Hillary Clinton's IT staffer asked Reddit for advice, of all places, about how to do this. I don't know what in the world would have compelled him to think that this was a good idea. He's saying, oh, well, I need help removing some VIP name, like headers and blah, 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 and all this other retarded jargon that IT people use. And also, I think it's more entertaining. Here's the funny part. This same account appears to have been posting on like the furry page or a furry subreddit or whatever Reddit uses now after their fucking communist leader screwed their site up a while ago. I don't even know. I don't use Reddit because honestly the format is so out of whack. It's like, why bother? I'd rather use 4chan. I was on Reddit like twice and trolled a few people and then left because it was so fucking boring. But apparently he was talking about like furries and yiff and stuff like that. There's a picture of, I guess, like a lamp with a couple of wolves like fucking each other or something like that. He's talking about make them yiff. You probably shouldn't Google that if you've got a sensitive stomach. You'd be better off Googling blue waffle at that point, honestly. If you're not into the weird side of the internet very much, you shouldn't be looking this stuff up. Just take my word for it. It has to do with people in animal costumes. Let's leave it at that. That's about all I'll say on the subject. But he's into that apparently, and some other like really weird, like random stuff. But it looks like he used his account quite a bit, and in the latter days, primarily, apparently used it to commit treason, and that's a little bit of a problem. And the Congress, like I said, is now aware of it, so that they're going to haul him in for question again. I imagine that the first, Trey Gowdy probably right now is having a fun time. He's probably laughing because this is just more evidence, in my mind certainly, that Hillary Clinton doesn't exactly surround herself with the best and brightest. She surrounds herself with easily manipulated yes men who are really corrupt like she is. That's what she does. That's why the DNC fucked up big time. They were good enough to steal the primaries for her, but too inept to cover up properly the fact that they had done so, and persisted in using things like Obama08 as the password for their emails. I wonder what absolute genius with high-grade technology was required to crack that. I wonder how they did it. How did they get a hold of the DNC emails? It's pretty straightforward. It's actually funny in retrospect. Somebody should like do a bunch of digging, not suggesting any unlawful stuff here, but if somebody did do some digging on these various Clinton-connected servers, probably wouldn't be too hard to guess the password. Hopefully they changed it by now, but apparently they didn't. Like after the first hacking attempt, they didn't do anything for a while, and they got hacked again. Apparently, that's the funny part, DCCC and so forth. It's just a mess. And now we've got this retard who handled all of the email stuff to begin with, asking Reddit of all places. I think his biggest mistake was asking Reddit. His biggest mistake wasn't asking for help or wiping emails or doing things that was illegal. It was where he did it. Shouldn't have done it on Reddit, because bring you bad luck. They're on the other side of memetics, and it's not working out too well for them. They're falling in some other site. I wonder which one is rising right now in prominence as opposed to fucking Reddit or Tumblr. Tumblr, which shouldn't even exist anymore, except for the fuck yeah Dolan Tumblr. That one should be archived forever. But this poor dude, not only does he get exposed for probably having, broken several felonies, not only does he potentially expose a presidential candidate to much increased levels of scrutiny, he also gets exposed for being interested in watching people in animal costumes do terrible things to one another. So yeah, he's had an embarrassing day, and apparently he went around trying to delete all of these accounts too. When it was found out, when it first started breaking, so he was probably like, oh fuck, I'm in it big time now, and while he was chugging his whiskey, he goes around deleting stuff. Oh, oops, it's all archived, everyone's already grabbed everything. Sorry. So yeah, he's basically screwed. If these are his accounts, which there's a good 99% chance that they are, he's fucked. And by default, if the true lamestream media, as in the whole media itself, begins discussing this, I don't mean just Fox or Breitbart or Drudge or something like that. Okay, that's all well and good. I mean if MSNBC picks it up. Can you imagine the look on their face? Remember the female news anchor there, how she reacted with bewilderment when they said, yeah, it's been confirmed Hillary did have a couple of her devices just smashed with a hammer, because apparently that's a proper way to dispose of things at the government level, to have like classified intel on them and stuff like that. I can imagine what her reaction will be when she discovers that not only did Hillary Clinton's IT staffer ask on a totally open and public forum about, clearing the headers off of and deleting the content of potentially top secret emails. Not only did he do that, but he did it on the same account that he's talking about animal fucking and stuff like that on. I can imagine the bewilderment of the people at MSNBC and CNN. It's going to be very, very difficult for them to make the argument that Hillary has a working brain cell if this is the sort of person that she hires to handle this sort of work. It's going to be very, very difficult. I feel very sorry for him, though. Ultimately, I don't care if he's corrupt or treasonous or whatever. Maybe he was just doing his job. He didn't even think anything about it. Okay, regardless, I do feel sorry for him for having that much personal info exposed to the public. If it's the only way to really catch Clinton in the act, potentially, so be it. But I do feel sorry for his suffering, which must be supreme right now. He's probably he's 3 sheets to the wind drunk, and he's probably worried about Hillary Clinton offing him before he can testify again before Congress. So hopefully he stays indoors with the windows locked. Hopefully, because we all know how tricky Bubba, I was going to say Tricky Dick, basically the same thing. Big Bubba and Wifey operate usually when it comes to people that could potentially destroy their careers. They tend not to live very long after they gain that ability. It's very strange, like that dude at the UN crushed his own esophagus with a barbell, or the dude who was formerly in the DNC, kind of maybe sorta was involved with leaking stuff to WikiLeaks, that got shot several times, and it was a robbery attempt, but nothing he had was stolen, including hundreds of dollars and his cell phone and an expensive watch and stuff like that. So what happens? By the way, just in case, just for personal insurance or something, I don't have any suicidal tendencies, so if I suddenly don't log in and they find me with 3 shots to the back of the head, no, it wasn't me. It was foul play, and you should assume that it was. Just gonna drop that out there as I slowly rise in prominence as somebody who is doing so partially because of criticism of Hillary's campaign. Yeah, if I suddenly die of massive poisoning or shoot myself, I probably wasn't actually the one doing the shooting. It was probably somebody else who was hired by a certain politician. I'll just put that out there. That's about all. Peace out.